Okay, bows and bow ties. So look, this isn't terribly organized or unorganized. I'm not sure what word I want to use, but welcome. It's been a while since I've done a regular live. I'm a Black opinionated woman, also known as a bow. So listen, let me see. Let me go ahead and see if I can go ahead and view the link here. Hold on a second. Bring this up. I should have had this prepared, but of course I had to be tacky just a little bit. Give me 1 second. Share my screen. All right, so this is what you selected to get into here, into my situation. All right, can you see this? Eh. Mermaid or Siren? So let me just say this for a second. I want you to listen. All right, just listen to me. Let me make this bigger. I'll leave it like this. All right, so listen. You know, I believe in Jesus, so take this with a grain of salt. I wanted to tell this little story. It's not a real story. Greek mythology. Now, look, this is all fictitious. Okay? Earlier this week, I mentioned Persephone. She was the goddess of the underworld as well as the goddess of vegetation. She returns every spring, symbolizing immortality. Her symbols are the pomegranate, seeds of green, and flowers, and some other stuff. I didn't copy the whole thing. Now, the history of Persephone was she was originally good, and I think she was kidnapped or something. And I got to go back to the story. And then she became the goddess of the underworld, Hades. Now think about all the Greek mythology, Hades and Zeus and Adonis and all of that, right? So she was with Hades, and Hades is hell. So at the time, before she became the goddess of the underworld, she had these sirens. You know, they used to sing. So let me just say this. Let me throw this up here for a second. Sirens are basically what mermaids were, and then it became sirens. Basically, so hold on. Sirens have a human face with a bird body. Mermaids have a human face with a fish body. That's what really distinguishes them, right? But the difference was the sirens use their voices to lure the sailors. And when they would lure them, so my understanding, I had to do a basic Google search, they would like crash into the rocks and that type of thing, right? There was an old story, I don't know if it was Ulysses or something with the Odyssey. Oh gosh, it's like an old English, but I cannot remember. And the one guy was tied to the boat or something, and he told his people, do not untie me as we go through this area because the sirens are going to sing. Because basically what they did was they would sing, and their voice was so melodic and so attractive, and like the men or whoever would listen to their voices, they would get lured in and they would just meet their demise. They would drown or something, I don't know. So mermaids, more or less, are different. They're almost like the antithesis, right? Now, this is all fictitious, but when I make this comparison to Beyonce, I consider her more like a siren. Now, look, I know many of you are not going to like this because you guys have exalted her to a demigod. Okay? She's a being of partial or lesser divine status, such as a minor deity, the offspring of a god and a mortal, or a mortal raised to divine rank. Also is defined as a man who is greatly admired or respected. Now, look, you guys have elevated, you have exalted Beyonce to demigod status. That's the reason why, if you listen to her lyrics and look at her visuals, this woman is levitating. I'm telling you, she's like a siren. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it, right? They're like, no, leave her alone. Leave her alone. And I'm telling you, Beyonce does not care about you. Beyonce cares about Beyonce. Beyonce cares about money. Beyonce does not care about you. I wrote down a couple of notes. They're not in any sort of order. So let me just say this. Look at her songs and listen to her songs. You guys don't see the evolution of how she's come through in her music. It's not good. So what happens is, like I said, especially the blackity blackbacks, we're so easily influenced. We're so easily swayed. All someone has to do is be like, I think I'm falling in love, right? That doesn't sound too bad. And put a good track on the back. And then she slides in, I'm in the mood to F something up. Look at all of her lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. All I can say is this. I know many of you are going to be in your feelings because she's acting more like a siren. And yes, that is a fictitious character, but it's the only way I know how to get people to see the comparison. Mermaids are not harmful. Sirens, when they sing, they're bringing harm. They're seductress, and it causes harm. It causes people to meet their demise. I feel like she is introducing this concept of whoredom, the things that she wants to do with her body, and just, I want to F this up. And keep in mind, supposedly, like, look, she is married. So she can say and she wants to do all these things, but she actually has a husband. Okay. So let me tell you something. Y'all better be real careful because she's leading so many people down this really sick path. The lyrics are getting whorier or sluttier or whatever it is, and people are going to try to come for me. I get it. I get it. I have nothing to lose on this. I have nothing to lose. I don't eat off this. But we need real mentorship in this community. Okay? We already know that the men are abandoning the boys. Listen to their talking points. But I'm talking woman to woman. And I know you don't want to hear it. You guys are going to say that she's doing this and you're going to call this her femininity or her feminism or whatever. Is it? Have you guys listened to her lyrics? She's made it okay for you guys to call each other bees, just like the men have. But now she's like bowed down. And then she wants to make it seem like she's wholesome. She's not. So now she's into she's 40 something years old and she's trying to keep up with a group of people and her messaging. Listen to what she's saying. Listen to the lyrics. I think they're a little satanic, if you ask me. She is the biggest grift in the community right now. She literally knows how to pander to the right people. First, it was Black women. They were desperate for girl power and all stuff like that. I used to really like Beyonce until she became this new Beyonce. Black women were desperate to have something that they can look up to and laud and applaud. And she gave them that. But that wasn't enough. She made sure she had blonde tresses and continues to have the same face and the same, like she's not trying to age or anything, right? She's making sure she can be palatable enough. She's got to stay light enough and palatable enough for the masses, right? We know what happens to some of her pictures. And then when that wasn't enough, guess who she went after? One of the most low self-esteem groups out there, the LGBT group. All she has to do is give them a shout out and they're like, yes, yes. And she's grifting off to them. I think white women are next. Because eventually, even that won't be enough because her ego is so high. I mean, like literally, her ego is so high. So, like I said, Beyonce is the biggest grift in the community. She literally is singing like a siren. She's got people crashing and burning, giving up their little bit of rent money and medicine money and everything else. And she's jacked up the prices of these things. She's got these tickets high. The thing that kills me is people are willing to be lemmings for her and walk off a cliff. They're doing it. They defend her fiercely. Why? Because they have idolized her. They've turned her into a demigod. They turned her into a demigod. She's been idolized. She's an idolized person. So now she can do or say anything because she has their minds. Listen to the jacked up lyrics she has. You got the whacked out weirdos, also known as the beehives, too. It's not just the whacked out men from the manosphere, the beehives. They will fiercely defend her, and they don't even realize the things that they're saying. Beyonce is the biggest grift in the community right now. First, it was well, I won't say first, but it was Kanye, and so is Beyonce. You know, as talented as she is, and the voice that was given to her from the Most High, who I call Jesus, God, at some point, the way she's misusing this gift, I think it's going to be taken from her. This satanic tour of hers coming up, child. And people are breaking their necks to go see it. And usually the ones who want to go see it the most are the ones who have no relationship with God. They don't believe in God anyway. So they don't think what she's doing is satanic. They are so blinded. They are so blinded. Um, what was it that I wrote down? I wrote down this quote, which people are going to want to click out after this. In 2 Timothy 2:15, it says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." I'm just saying this. As much as she's grifting off the community, they're not seeing it. They'll say, "Oh, you don't know what she's doing behind closed doors." I'm like, but she'll take your money publicly. Why should you have to see? Why does she have to hide behind closed doors if she's doing something good for the community? She wants to slither. I'm using words like slither around on the ground. She wants to gyrate. She wants to wear no clothes. She wants to F something up. That's what she wants to do. This is what people are aspiring to be. The LGBTQ community is desperate for validation. They say they're not, but they are. They love those shout outs. Why would you need to shout out a community who distinguishes themselves based off of their sexual preference? If you think about what she's doing, why is that necessary? Because if it was just a regular singer who was singing, they would just say thank you to all of my fans. But now she's pandering to the LGBT because they fit along with her agenda. White women are next because she's already conquered a lot of these black women. They're already conquered. Next is the LGBT. So I'm going to tell you something. Beyonce loves being idolized. She does. That's why she has that weirdo church out there, wherever it is, Houston or someplace. She could get that shut down if she wanted to. I think it's called the Church of Beyonce. I would say, don't take my name. Don't use my name. It's blasphemous what she's doing. She's promoting the LGBT community. And so this is the thing. I think they should have the right to live their lives the way they want. Everybody has free will. I don't understand why we have to promote it. Everyone has free will. I don't understand why it has to be promoted. So, like I said, she's encouraging people to do all these sexual things, and yet it's not as blasphemous for her because she's married. She is married. So, all those things that she's talking about doing, it is not negatively impacting her, but what she's doing is she's bringing over all those lost souls. I said what I said. Now, look, y'all go ahead and be mad. Go ahead and be mad. But what you guys have done is elevated her. You have idolized her. It's sick. It's sick. It's all the way sick. You can be mad. Let me tell you something. Beyonce doesn't even like herself. She doesn't care about you. Grifting off you, taking your money. I don't even think she's pro-woman. She sends out so many confusing things. Bow down bees. All these things. She tries to pretend like she's so freaking woke. I'm like, shut up. Some of the stuff that she does. She's using bad Ave. She's got women into loving being called bees and stuff, or she's one of them anyway. I wouldn't say she's the only one. If you notice, everything about her now is just her sexuality. It's not about her vocals, and she has talent, but she can't just sit there and sing and rest in her talent. She hasn't. Look, she has amassed enough people that she can influence so many people with just her voice. But look at what she's doing. She's desperate for attention. The way she dresses, the way she acts. And then look, she's gonna call it coming into her own or whatever. I call it shenanigans. Hey, look, I'm throwing out the red flag. Like I said, she's the biggest grift on the community. Y'all are spending all your money. She's got you guys totally messed up. She does. You're spending all your money. You are willingly allowing yourself to be called a B. She's encouraging you guys to go do all this sexual stuff, but yet she's married. Like I said, she's a siren. Sirens will lure you with their voice or their music. The content could be bad. Oh, like all you have to do is just have like beautiful vocals. But she could be singing about something that's treacherous. And Black people are easily susceptible. We are just the most feeble mind people. All we got to do is put some pretty vocals and a banging beat behind it. Listen to her language, people. Listen to the lyrics. If you read the lyrics, read them, sincerely read the lyrics. Listen to the sick stuff she's saying. And you guys are falling for it. Simple minded. I said what I said. There's a demon running through her. She's not singing like a mermaid, she's singing like a siren. She doesn't even, I don't think she even likes herself. I think she has low self esteem. Why do you think she's trying to keep her hair a certain way, her skin a certain way? She's desperate for attention. Only a woman in her 40s wants to do like who's dressing like this needs attention. And let me just say for the record, her body, that beautiful body isn't bad. A woman's body is not bad. It is beautiful. But she's using it like a weapon as a tool. And let me just say this. Besides the fact that the messaging behind all these whacked out lyrics and stuff like that, I'm going to tell you what is really starting to concern me. And that is this unhealthy exposure and access to the industry for her child, Blue Ivy. I feel like we need to be praying for Blue Ivy. The others are not. The others are not being pushed out there. Her twins, but I feel like somebody needs to pray for a hedge of protection around Blue Ivy. All that exposure to the industry and everyone's like, but it's Blue Ivy, it's Beyonce, it's okay. She's a billionaire's daughter. Well, they're a combined billionaire. Um, I don't care. She's a child. She's like 11, 12, 13, I don't know, 11, 12. We need to pray for a hedge of protection. We need to pray for her and Jay-Z to be delivered. But let me tell you something. I'm not like hitting people over the head with a Bible, but lately I seem to be in my content because I just see that things are just spiraling out of control. Like I've said in other videos, when we used to say Jesus, there's that old term that says demons tremble at the name of Jesus. And what I'm saying is we stopped saying it. You got a whole lot of Black people now who are too good for the church. The church is flawed. We're all flawed. But my concern is for that sweet baby, putting her in that industry, all that exposure, and way too young, craving that attention, that success, that the concerts are just. And I think the other one that we need to ask for or pray for a hedge of protection around, believe it or not, Chloe Bailey. I feel like Beyonce is Persephone because Persephone owned, like she was like master over the sirens. She's a siren herself, and I feel like Chloe Bailey and her daughter are more like representation of sirens. And I think she's grooming Blue Ivy too early. But all right, that's it for me. These are just my opinions. Like I said, I'm not very popular with this type of content, and I've had to come to acceptance. I had to accept the fact that, you know, it is what it is. I had to accept the fact that if I'm going to stay honest and true to what I believe, that, this is not going to garner a lot of attention. But I need to be honest, and I'm going to make mistakes. But I also need to call out the situation. This is a full on situation going on. Beyonce's acting like a siren. She's acting like a Persephone and a siren at the same time. Look at Chloe Bailey. She's lost. She's just, ugh, I don't even like her anymore. She's just getting sloppy. All her stuff is just hanging out, looking sloppy. And I don't really like that. Could be just I'm getting older too. But all right, let me know what you think. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. And later.